practice you are about to learn is almost
Peace. What's up, family? Let's see. Can you guys see me? My camera's on. Let me know if you guys can see me. What's up? What's up? Peace. Dylan, what's good? What's up to the goddess holding me down in the chat room? Let me know you guys can see me. Give me a thumbs up and let me know you can see me, because I actually can't see myself. I see a black screen. So let me know that I am coming through. Okay, you see the fresh, nice little trim. You know, I got sick for a couple of weeks. Satan tried to take me off my square. I lost a lot of weight. I was down and out, you know what I mean? Down, but never out. And so I can see my face is filling back in, and I can see the light in my eyes again. And, you know, coming through with that nice Scorpio season vibe. What's good? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How's your life? How's your world? How's your frequency? How's your energy? What's going on with y'all? It's been a while since I've been on YouTube, and a lot's happening and a lot has been going on. So I got a lot to say. These are some very critical times, and I have some slides that I'm going to show you guys, but I really just, man, I'm exhausted, like just mentally and spiritually and energetically being in this world is exhausting. So I'm going to go through some of the slides as I feel inclined. But I really want to have a soul-to-soul conversation with you guys, because it's just that time, you know? And so if we make it through the slides, cool. If not, I'll do a full-fledged presentation. But I really just wanted to really just talk to you guys and have a heart-to-heart and send some love and some righteous energy and some feminine perspective and some feminine guidance out to Kanye West. And much love for the super chat. I appreciate you. And whether he gets the message or not, the divine feminine consciousness and frequency is going to make sure that he receives the message. His mother will certainly make sure that he receives the message. So before I get into it, how y'all doing? What's up in the chat room? How y'all feeling? Much love, Dylan. I appreciate you. Everybody that donates super chats, my Cash App information is in the description as well. Definitely appreciate all the support. I am being and have been heavily censored for the last 2 years. So people are not able to reach my content, to find my pages, to find my videos, to access my information. So it means a lot to me, those of you guys that actually support what I do, because I'm a business owner. And so everything that I do comes from me. All my work happens from my brain, from my mind. And we're in a very critical time right now. And people are being penalized for speaking truth to power. And so that's been my reality for the past 2 years, and it's all good. And it's also relative to the situation with Kanye West and what's happening right now in the collective consciousness. So let me just take a couple of moments and just breathe, because I've been on go since I woke up this morning. Peace, Jamal. Peace, Natigal. How you doing, Queen? Peace, Ben Frank. T, what's up? What's up, Michael Redbird? How you doing? Aja, peace, Queen. Glenda, Jamal was good. Jay was good. Nyla was good. Dre was good. What does that say? Makti Ali. Okay, you probably family. What's good? How you doing? Malik Supreme, peace to the God. How you doing? Assalamu alaikum, Sister Sandra Muhammad. Tubi was good. Everybody in the chat room. Miss Montoya, Hubert. Let's see, Chantal, Set Apart was good. Divine Truth, Allah, peace to the God, peace to the queens, peace to the kings, peace, Queen Shah, how you doing? What's up, everybody? Lisa, what's good, sis? I hope you're doing well today. You guys have got a triple dosage of me in the membership channel. I uploaded headline news last night, and then I uploaded Ask Me Anything this morning. And now here you are with me now. So God bless your soul if you are not quite inundated or overwhelmed with access to ZaZaAli. I can't listen to myself talk that much. I don't even like listening to my videos when I play them back because I hear myself so much in my head and in my heart that yeah, I get overwhelmed with the ZaZa at times. So I'm very happy and excited that you guys are here with me. It's a beautiful day in Southern California, not a line in the sky. It's actually blue. I can see the sun out of my window. I have this wonderful natural lighting that's coming in and hitting me. And I'm just very thankful, especially with everything that I've been through over the last month, getting sick, coming face to face with all of the things that I've been researching and I've been teaching and I've been seeing other people experiencing. Yeah, I had to live it. I had to experience it in order to really understand what's going on in terms of what this technology that these people have running rampant on our planet, what it actually is doing to the human body, to the physical body. So yeah, I bear witness, and I am just as strong in my convictions as I was prior to getting sick, as I am now. We are dealing with some real, true, evil, wicked psychopaths. And they're masters at science and their mathematics, masters at science, masters at mathematics, and masters of their own technology. So while we're having this conversation about who are the real, true people of God, right? And that the whole element of that, I just want to caution us. I want to caution all of us. Much love, Dylan. I appreciate you. I want to caution all of us that embodying what it means to be the people or the children of God takes real work. It takes inner work. It takes inner awareness. It takes self-love. It takes a lot of things that we don't really have our finger on the pulse of as a collective consciousness. And I know that our people, Black people, melanated people, African people, Indigenous people, Aboriginal people, appreciate you, Harness Energy, Aboriginal people, Native people, brown people, the darker people of the world, the original people, Asiatic Black men. I'm comfortable with all of those things, Black man and woman. Fashioned out of the womb of triple darkness. We could go there too. The question is, for me, is not so much about who those people are. Because, you know, this is the fall of Babylon that we're all witnessing and participating in. The question for me at this stage in the game is, are the children of the sun in a position and ready to take your rightful place as landlords and vicegerents of planet Earth? Are we ready? Are we prepared? Are we qualified? I don't know. The jury's still out. It's looking shaky. Because if a t-shirt could get our whole, how many millions of us are there now? 40 million, 40 plus million, tens of millions of us. If a t-shirt, I don't care who wore the t-shirt. If a t-shirt can take us that far off of our square, then I can assure you that we are not ready for what is getting ready to hit the collective consciousness and to hit this planet. Because everything we've been through over the last 2 or 3 months in terms of being mad at Kanye and then fighting, proving who the real Jews are and all of this, you know, everybody's going back and dusting off the history books now and reproving things that have already been proven 1,000 times. And in the 70s and in the 80s and in the 90s and in 2000, and then The Nation wrote a book called Who Are the Real JESSWS? None of this is new. I'm sorry, Kanye. That doesn't mean that there's not value in what he's doing, because there is. And I'm going to get into that. And I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I got issues with Kanye, but I'm a queen. So I can be balanced. Because I understand that the darkness and the light has to play out. The darkness and the light have to manifest. The darkness and the light have to both be confronted and dealt with in this hour. And with all due respect, I'm going to try to keep my cool today, but who knows what's going to happen. I'll try to maintain my language and my posture and my passion, but wherever we just happen to go, we're going to go there. Everybody got an opinion to say now. D.L. Hughley, Amanda Seals. What's the dude's name? I can't. I don't even listen to any of these people anymore. But I just saw this wave of energy come out swinging at Kanye. And it's fascinating. You have a pulse. I thought y'all was dead. I was looking for courage in the cracks and crevices of Black America. I'm still looking. I'm still looking for courage. I'm still looking for researchers. I'm still looking for mathematics, scientific, biological, chemistry-based minds to help the planet get out of the condition it's in. And I still don't see you. But when it comes to Kanye, Roland Martin, yes, thank you very much. Jamel Hill, yes, absolutely. Put them on the mat, because everybody's getting put on the mat now. This is spiritual warfare. Today is October 30th, 2022, Sunday. In case I didn't start the conversation off right, let's make sure we start the conversation off right. Today is Sunday, October 30th, 2022. We are in Babylon and spiritual warfare is in full effect. Welcome to the show. I can disagree with Kanye West. I can disagree with people that don't agree with everything I say. I don't agree with everything anybody says. So when you guys write those messages and say, oh, I love you so much, I don't always agree with everything you say. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure if we had a conversation, the feeling would be mutual. We have so much to say. There's so much contrived consciousness in the airwaves. Oh my God, everybody has courage now. Typing in all caps, mad at Kanye West. When you're not even holding yourself to the same level of accountability that you're holding him to. Where are the courageous warriors? Where are the soldiers? Where are the truth tellers? I'm looking for you. You can speak out against Kanye, but you won't speak out against the center that starts with a C, and the middle initial is D, and the last initial is C. I can't speak freely. I'm sorry. We're in a time of censorship. So now I have to use coded language in order to say the things to you that I should be able to say on my own merit. These are difficult times. You're not being censored. You don't feel the pressure. Oh, okay, then you're not on the field. Kanye's on the field playing the game of life. How many of y'all are on the field playing the real game? How many of y'all have actually spoken up for somebody in the last 3 years outside of the people in your direct inner circle? How many of y'all are actually concerned for these children and this new immunization schedule that's getting ready to come down and what this is actually going to mean for the children of America and the children of the world. Don't worry. I'll wait. Black people in America, we have a death culture. So my subject today is Kanye West and the Delilah frequency. We may not get to the Delilah frequency today, but we're gonna usher it in. I don't want to talk too long because I want to come back and come back with part 4 and keep this in a sequential order. But I have a lot to say about Kanye. And I have a lot to say about the condition of the minds and hearts of the people. Kanye is not your savior. In my Kendrick Lamar voice, Jay-Z is not your savior. Kamala Harris is not your savior. Joe Biden is not your savior. Your pastor is not your savior. Your imam is not your savior. Your favorite social media influencer is not your savior. So then who's going to save you? I didn't start off this conversation feeling like Daenerys Targaryen, but I don't know, the situation is starting to rise. Because I'm being heavily penalized for speaking truth to power. So Kanye wants to talk about censorship when it affects him, but are you writing for the people that have been censored this whole time? I don't think so. So I can feel Kanye's West soul. I can feel him fighting for his soul. And I think Jamal said he's an elitist and an opportunist. In certain regards, absolutely. I'm not going to dispute that. I know how to be balanced in assessment of people. I know how to critique people in a loving and nurturing way, because that's what women are supposed to do. But then also be balanced in the assessment and credit them for the powerful genius things. And Kanye is absolutely a genius. He's brilliant. But he's not the only one. And one of the things in the interview, I'm skipping all over. I'm trying to stay focused, but it's a lot to say. I noticed in the interview when he was asked about Moses West and MosesWestFoundation.org. All Black people should have already gone to that website, should have already made a donation, because we are in Babylon. And these people are planning on cutting all of our access to all of our natural resources off. They've already started, actually. Did you guys know there's no gas, there's no oil in the whole country of Haiti? Maybe you knew that if you watched my headline news from yesterday. Did you know that? So let me say this. The one thing that Kanye, and this is my opinion, this is a strong opinion. The one thing that Kanye wants to say more than anything that he can't say is they killed my mother. That's the one thing that he wants to say more than anything that he can't say. They killed my mother. And so sometimes the knee-jerk reaction may come out as white lives matter. The knee-jerk reaction may come out as slavery was a choice. The knee-jerk reaction may come out as George Floyd, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not campaigning for any of that stupid shit that he said. You know, he's definitely feeling the fire of his own inability to judge and consider his words before putting them out into the ethers. And because I do interviews all the time, and because I actually do sit down and just open myself up and just talk without a script, I know that sometimes when you express yourself, you have a certain intention, you have the best of intention, or you're frustrated, or you're invigorated, or you're passionate, or you're in a certain space, you can't, or you don't necessarily articulate what it is that you really truly want to say, right? So I'm giving Kanye leeway in that regard. And then not to mention having hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people energetically project on you. Now, Jamal said, what if he sacrificed her though? I mean, can he still fight back? How many people have been sacrificed in the last 3 years? Let's have a real conversation. Let's not just deal with the celebrities, because they're facing the same thing that all of us are facing right now. How many people have been sacrificed to Baal or to Satan in the past 3 years? How many children? How many elderly? Virgil Abloh? DMX? Bob Saget? Betty White? What about the thousands of athletes that are having conditions of the heart on the field, dying on camera? How many sacrifices have we indirectly been a part of, or witnessed, or stood by idly and done nothing? So with all due respect, not even to you, Jamal, because this is bigger than your question, everybody's getting put on the mat right now. Nothing that Satan is asking of these celebrities and these entertainers is not being asked of you. So everybody's being put on the mat now. How will we fare? I think if we knew the actual number of people that have taken the Jim Jones juice, and I've gotten messages from people complaining about me using the word Jim Jones juice. That makes you feel some type of way because you have it in your body. But are you upset about the censorship? Are you upset about the fact that I can't just sit here and have a real conversation with you and tell you from A to Z what they've been doing, what they've done, what they're planning, what's in it, how it's affecting your body, how it's affecting your blood flow, how it's affecting your brain, how it's affecting your behavior, how it's affecting your emotions, how it's connected to the lines that they're spraying in the sky, how it's connected to the towers that they're getting ready to put 800,000 in America, how it's connected to the fiber optic smart meters, how it's connected to the fluoride in the water. Does that matter to you? You don't want me to call it the Jim Jones juice? Then write a campaign to YouTube. Tell them to restore my freedom as a sovereign, God-loving, free-minded, never to be enslaved, never to submit to Satan, regardless to whom or what. Why don't you write a letter to YouTube and ask YouTube, why does my page have 2 strikes? And why don't I have permission to speak freely? And then I'll call it what it really is. Yeah, everybody's an expert, Nyla, but none of the problems of the world are getting fixed. How many degrees has America? How many doctorate degrees? How many PhD degrees? How many master's degrees How many bachelor's degrees has America actually put out into the world? People that are learned, alphabet learned around the world that haven't done anything of any consequential substance in the last 3 years. Where's the courage? So when we talk about the people of God, that has to be earned. It's a frequency. Yeah, we can go back through the chronological order. We can use the books. We can use the chronological order of things. We can use the seniority aspect of it. We can go back and tap back in with all of the native and the indigenous and the African cultures around the world. But are we ready to step up and take back control of our planet? That's the real question. Dick Gregory has a clip, and I tried to find it. It's somewhere saved on my computer. He has a clip where he's talking about the fact that Black people, I keep feeling the need to say this because I know this conversation is going to invite a lot of different, you don't have to write me and correct me and say, oh, Black is the etymological term, Black's Law Dictionary. Yeah, that's like 10 years ago for me, but thank you. So the Moors, the natives, the indigenous people, the melanated people of the world. The Aborigines in Australia. Do you guys know what's going on in Australia right now? The children of God, those of us that are supposed to be responsible for knowing what's happening on our planet, do we know what's happening in there? Because the children of God, the children of the Son, have a higher level of accountability and obligation. Isn't that right? When if you leave your children at home and you leave the oldest one at home in charge and you say you make sure everything is straight until I get back, you're not going to be looking at the younger children if you come home and the house is a mess. And they may have been the ones who did it. You're going to be looking at the older one that you left in charge. So God or the universe or source energy left us in charge. What have we done with the power? What have we done with the ancient teachings? What have we done with the sciences? We see what they've done. There's some otherworldly shit going on right now in the blood and in the bodies of a lot of people. Please let me tell you. So we're in this dichotomy now where everybody's avoiding truth. This is why the situation with Kanye is dangerous, because as authentic as I believe he is, even when he's not saying it or saying what he really means or not really saying it with his chest, whether he's apologizing to them or apologizing to us, whether it's the t-shirts, whether it's the face masks he's wearing so nobody can see him, whether it's the situation with the harlot that he married and is trying to pass off as a queen. This is my issue, Kanye. Stop trying to sell the whore of Babylon off to the people of God as a queen. This is a problem. You're offending the divine feminine, sir, especially when you're simultaneously having conversations about Planned Parenthood and abortion. Because women aren't just here to have children. Sorry to inform you guys of that. We're also here to thrive. We're also here to be happy. We're also here to explore. We're also here to expand. We're also here to expand the consciousness of God. We're also here to create. We're also here to love. We're also here to learn. We're also here to research. We're also here to fix some of the problems. We are the solution. So we have a culture of women that have no self-love. In LA, every other female looks like she's trying to look like Kim Kardashian. That's not really O ye man of God. So the divine feminine is offended. And I was going to talk about Boosie today, and I am going to talk about Boosie when I get into this. The Delilah frequency is going to have to come probably the next video, because it's just a lot. It's just, I haven't talked to you guys in a while, and there's so much to be said. Oh my God. You running for president in 2024. What are you going to do about the Electoral College? Who's talking about the Electoral College? Y'all love Stacey Abrams. Ask her. It turns out that courage is an attribute of God. It turns out that courage is an attribute of God. Where's the courage? We got to talk, Kanye, because you're selling Delilah to the world. And you're telling us all of these reasons that these people are evil and they're wicked and they're kidnapping your children. You're having a hard time navigating the world because these people are locking you out, TMZ, et cetera, all your problems, all your issues that don't have anything to do with any of us. Then you turning around and trying to resell her as wife material. No, sir. I reject that. Now, if you want to make a housewife, then we can have that conversation too. But you have daughters, just like I have a son. I'm very concerned with the mindset and the level of insecurity and the lack of actual focus and the lack of awareness of the women of the world. Not just Black women in particular, because Lord knows the Delilah frequency is strong. The concubine culture is thriving. Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, City Girls, Lotto, Asian doll, new doll, old doll, Black doll, white doll. Here we are moving into the age of Aquarius, a spiritual time frame where the balance is supposed to be reestablished, where we're supposed to be moving out of this linear-minded, patriarchal-minded, even though I don't like that language. We're supposed to be coming back to the center. Women are supposed to be reestablished in their power. Women are supposed to be coming back to the throne, because like Hiram Abiff, he had to go to sleep for a while, and apparently so did we. I want to have a real conversation today. I don't know. I just, there's too much fluff in the airwaves for me. There's too much fluff in the airwaves for me. So we got a lot of issues with Kanye, right? I'm talking about the energy that's being projected towards him. I can kind of see the comments a little bit where people have some issues with him and I don't trust him and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not reading them all clearly. I'm just kind of perusing through them. But for me, Kanye is not cancelable because we're short on soldiers. We're short on warriors. We're short on people that actually have the courage to stand in front of a camera or to hold a microphone or to hold a phone or to stand up in hospitals or to stand up in clinics or to stand up in schools or to stand up in any of these institutions and actually speak truth to power. We are short on courage. Human beings, I'm not just talking about Black people. This is a global situation. Y'all have no idea. You have no idea the level of evil and wickedness happening on our planet right now. That's how I know you're not in alignment with God. That's how I know our culture is not in alignment with God, because there's no way that we as a people would be spending this much time focused on Kanye West when the devil is alive in your living room, in your household, going after these children. They're not even hiding it anymore. And you mad at Kanye? You upset me, Kanye, the other day because, and I'm not saying you're going to hear this, but somebody's going to make sure you at least feel my frequency. This is a conversation between a queen and a king, a goddess and a god. Potential in the making. You came back online and he wrote a post about something. I don't even remember what it was. This was the other day, the day before yesterday or something to that. And in the comments, he said, I haven't had supermodel, Pussy. I'm spelling it because, I'm being censored. I have to be careful. I haven't had supermodel Pussy in a month. Send help. This is the point where you start to look like a child again. And going back to what I said originally, we know he can't really say the one thing that he really wants to say more than anything, which is, they killed my mother. So Jamal said, did he sacrifice her? Well, that depends on how you look at it. Did he know they were going to kill his mother? I doubt it. Did he know that eventually they were going to come knocking? Because, bragging about being a billionaire is one thing. Why do we have so few billionaires? Why did you become a billionaire? I sold my soul. It was a crappy deal. At least I got some perks and a Happy Meal. That's what he said, right? He's been telling us this whole time. But again, he's fighting for his soul. Are you fighting for yours? He's standing up and speaking courage and talking about, at least in his industry, in the entertainment industry, he's not speaking for all of us. He's speaking for his peers and the people that are in that industry, and rightfully so. But he's exhibiting courage. He's making the sacrifices. He's taking losses. How many of you are actually doing that? How many of you stick up for people like me? How many of you are using your social media platforms to bring awareness? Not so many. This ain't about Kanye. It's about you. We arguing about who the people of God is. It's fascinating to me how there's all this conversation proving either side. You're a part of the program if you're a part of the dance. Now, all of a sudden, all of the historical experts about the ancient Ethiopians and the African people, and now all of a sudden, everybody wants to provide all of this content, all of these resources, and all of these references. But how many of us today in 2022 are actually preparing ourselves for what it means to be the children and the people of God? That's the conversation I want to have, and I haven't heard Kanye have it yet. Because if he was ready to have that conversation when the Moses West Foundation was brought up in the conversation, instead of him bragging about the $150 million he spent in research, he would have pivoted and turned the spotlight on the Moses West Foundation. By the way, the website is moseswestfoundation.org. Hopefully everybody that's constantly asking for solutions and don't want to talk about the problems, I only want to hear about the solution. Okay, there's one, go support it. moseswestfoundation.org. Water's going to be an issue. I have the solutions. I'm the one. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I know I have all the answers. No, you don't. The question that I have for all of us, because the kingdom of God is on its way. This one's going to have to be destroyed in the process. It's going to be difficult. But in the kingdom of God, everybody's a supreme being. So there's no reason for you to be a millionaire and somebody to not have. Everybody's a supreme being in the kingdom of God. How many of us can play in those quantum spaces? I don't know. That's going to be uncomfortable for some of us that need hate to survive. That's going to be uncomfortable for some of us that need worshipers to survive. Kanye, you got worshipers, bro. You know it. And if you're a real leader, you're pointing those people away from you and back to themselves. That's what God does. Where's the responsibility and the obligation of the people of God to invigorate and inspire people to their personal power? That's what I'm looking for, because that's where God is. That whole me, I, bragging about being a billionaire, and then it takes a day or 2 days for them to knock that off your name. So you're not really a billionaire then. You have the valuation of a billionaire based on past sales, based on current sales, based on future projections, based on market analysis of what the market is doing, based on your next seasons, et cetera, et cetera. So is Jay-Z really a billionaire? And I'm only even pointing that out because I don't like counting people's pockets, but hip hop is a very materialism based culture. This is what our sons in Chicago and in Detroit and in Oakland and in LA and in Brooklyn and in Miami, our sons are looking up to you. You say you got a Billy, okay, that means I can get a Billy too. What did you have to do to get it? I don't know. I put up a post, or actually in the last video, I talked about Elon Musk. This is another issue that I have. You know, we got Black men out here. It's feeling a little psychologically gay. I'm not gonna front. I know that term doesn't feel good, but it feels a little psychologically gay when you do an interview for 3 hours. And when you reference women, the only real thing you talk about is you talk about them like they're trinkets, you know. But then you see certain men and you bigging up, like it's some psychological gay stuff happening, including with the Elon Musk situation, because there's nothing impressive about this dude to me. I'm trying to understand. And I see so many people bigging him up. Black men in particular, particularly Black men in the economic frame of reference. You talk about this guy like he's the best thing since sliced bread. Do you know what Starlink is? Do you know what Neuralink actually is? Do you understand that in order for Starlink to actually operate and function, that this man has had to put up 5,000 satellites in the upper atmosphere of our planet? Do you understand that those satellites are beaming ELF frequencies down at humanity and affecting the electromagnetic spectrum of our planet and of humanity? Does it matter? Because y'all out here crying and woofing and thinking that the word that starts with a C and then V and then D and then 19, you think that's what your family member called or that's what you got. You don't understand the real dynamics and tentacles of the war that's taking place. So can we please, this is a request, it's a demand, but it's also a request, because you know what I mean? We got to be respectful. It's a demand, but it's also a request. Can we please stop bigging up and cheerleading these devils? Elon Musk is a devil. He's controlled opposition. He puts out tweets every now and then that makes you think that he actually cares about free speech. He hangs out with rappers, so he looks cool because they hashtag him and share pictures with him. And he's got a lot of money. That's really the thing that you respect about him. that y'all respect about him, that he has money and that he has influence in the technological industry. Okay. But he's a devil. And he's currently doing very devilish things. Does it matter, Kanye? I mean, if you're gonna start exposing people, let's let it all hang out. Since you love him so much, like you love Future so much, and God bless Future. I don't have any personal issues with him, but yeah, he's definitely one of the progenitors of the stripper culture and the mass effect that it's had on the consciousness. More on that later. Oh my God, Future's my favorite person in the world. Oh, Elon Musk. Oh my God, here's my favorite. Like it gives off bros over hoes type vibes, respectfully. Just like when Boosie sat there looking stupid as all outdoors with Bishop Don Juan, whichever pimp it was. I think it was Bishop Don Juan, bragging and laughing and chopping it up about the old days of pimping and how he had to change his. I was going to talk about this today, but I'm going to put the clip because I didn't put I have the clip because I want you to be able to see it. I want you to be able to see the devil reflecting through our men. Haven't seen one man really address pimp culture yet. Not in a continuous, emphatic, passionate, consistent way. I'm still waiting. I don't know. What time is it? What date is it? 2023? Could we possibly? So Boosie sat up there looking like a clown, next to a clown, and everybody's faded and drunk. So when he just haphazardly says, yeah, man, I had to, let me talk like a pimp. Yeah, man, you know, I had to, once it all boiled down to it and then they changed the laws and whatnot, you know, yes, I am from Oakland. I got it honest. Had to change they changed the laws. They start talking about human trafficking and whatnot. What? So you're admitting that you used to traffic women, taking women across state lines and, and all of that good stuff. I don't want to make this about the pimping and hoeing because Lord knows, no, there's no way possible that if the people of God could actually be claiming pimps and hoes. What you got to say about that? What do we have to say about that? What do our men have to say about that? That was a very embarrassing moment for black men all over the world. Haven't seen any real. It was really a low moment for you guys. I don't know if you can hire a PR or a publicist or somebody to walk that back and let the world know that Black men don't condone human trafficking. We ready for that? Not yet. We still focus on white people and what they're doing and we're not ready to clean up our own house yet. We're not ready to deal with our lower nature yet. Oh, okay. Well, let me know when we're ready. God has requirements. Being the children of God and quoting the Bible and quoting the resources and talking about the Elohim and talking about Haile Selassie and talking about the whole origin of the Coptic Ethiopian Hebrews. Yeah, I know it. I used to be online debating with the best of them. My history game is strong. Don't play with me. But what does it actually mean today? Can you peel that metal nectar off of the temples inside the pyramids? Can you peel it off the walls and shred it up and put it in a soup and give it to the people of the world, Black people in America in particular, so that maybe we can be edified and raised by that consciousness? I don't think so. Because it was the consciousness of those people that actually activated the wisdom. Charleston White is absolutely a clown. There's a video of Charleston White. He's not even serious enough for me to, like, you know, put on my platform. I'm addressing this because I see I saw the comment. A video of him bragging about raping a female. We've created a culture of fuckboys. I don't know how else to say it. And there's no steel sharpening steel anymore at this point. I'm trying to understand what's happening to manhood. How can a Black man be walking around and riding around bragging about raping women and there's no repercussions? Because you guys are focused on the t-shirt and focusing on proving Kanye right or proving Kanye wrong. And focusing on proving that you are the children of God. You don't prove that you are the children of God. You just be the children of God. We're not there yet as a culture. This is a fact. You bigging up Donald Trump. You bigging up Donald Trump, the king of, as he so eloquently called himself, the Jim Jones juice. You still bigging this dude up? It's giving psychologically gay. I'm sorry, it is. If there were other people saying it, it wouldn't sound so blatant when I say it. But what can I do? You think God sent Donald Trump? You say God gave Moses a staggered tongue, correlating Moses to Trump and et cetera, et cetera. Come on, bro, stop it. This dude got a trail of tears behind him his whole entire life, his whole entire family, 1,000 miles long. But I get it. You know those, he knows he can't say what he really wants to say. So it's about siding with the enemies of my enemy. It's a strategy. But if God is really with you, who can be against you? Donald Trump is a devil. He's controlled opposition. He's not the glitch in the matrix. He's not coming to save anybody. I'm sorry, far right people, right wings, whatever you're calling yourself today. And he's quiet when the real things need to be talked about. And he's loud when he's on the campaign trail. It's all a show. How can you not see it? So Nike now has a new line where they've completely copied Kanye's, all of his much love, Larry, I appreciate you. They've copied all of Kanye's very monotone and neutral, you know, baggy sweats, baggy hoodies, no real, like, no color, no, you know, it's all kind of very uniform, right? Which I don't know, that's, you know, there's something to that, but I digress. And so now Nike is doing these new ad campaigns where they've obviously copied his fashion, but they're also masking the people that are in the ads. Now, remember Kanye and Kim, you know, the biggest couple in the world, were walking around with their face masked. This is a contrived consciousness because they've been forcing people to wear those face coverings for 3 years now. Don't be seen. Don't be heard. Don't stand out. Don't be unique. Don't reflect God. Cover it all up. Be seamless. Be heardless. Heardless, that's not soundless. There's levels to this. A lot of what Kanye is experiencing and going through, I don't even think a lot of it he's even aware of and cognizant of. He said he took the Jim Jones juice. If he got the real deal, if they gave him a real shot, then yeah, there's a very big probability that he's being affected in ways in terms of how he's thinking and his behavior that he isn't even ready for. Our people aren't ready to have that conversation. We just ready to throw stones. We don't understand the technology. We don't understand the danger that these children are in. We don't understand the danger that's happening on our planet right now, but we want to argue about White Lives Matter t-shirts. It's not giving the people and the children of God for me. I'm sorry. So we expect more than the Ashkenazis we expect more from the Ashkenazis and the Zionists than we expect from ourselves. When I looked at drill rap and Chief Keef, I've been hearing Chief Keef's name for, my son listens to his music. So back when we had combined playlists, I would see all these names and, I grew up on Too Short. You know what I'm saying? So I've never policed my son's music. I do listen when we're in the car together, but I never just really sat out and was into Chief Keef like that. He gave me real weird vibes, right? But when I sat down to start looking through drill rap and looking at, I was listening to, The Game has a song with 21 Savage. It's called Live by the Code. I actually really like the song. It's one of my favorite songs on that album. But in the song, 21 Savage has 4 lines where he's talking about walking up to somebody and killing them. Was he real? Was it not? Is art imitating life? Well, who knows? But there's a whole culture in Black culture. And in Chicago, you notice the other thing is that when Nori asked him about Chicago, he sidestepped that question so expeditiously. We don't want to talk about Chicago? Oprah, we don't want to talk about Chicago? Okay, y'all love Chief Keef. Is he coming back and mending some of the fences that he's broken? Is he rebuilding some of the bridges he's burned? Has the drill music scene in Chicago, as wonderful and as global and as much money as it's put into the pockets of a select few, has the drill music scene in Chicago, Illinois, brought anything of value or substance to the people of Chicago? You guys tell me in the chat room. Now Snoop Dogg is reinventing Death Row Records. That's just what we need. While the Grand Reaper is hovering over America, that's exactly what we need. Death Row Records continuously evoking death. Thank you very much. That is exactly what's taking place. Appreciate you, Neptune. So you want to live a culture of death? You want to stand by idly while your men and your sons are killing each other? You want to promote prostitution and pimping and hoeing? You want to lift up pimps in front of the world? Make them seem acceptable and fly and cool? All right, Grand Reaper, do your thing. The purge is on. Y'all think you think this is just about white people? No, sir. No, sir. The purge is on. The purge is happening. And unfortunately for people who are short-sighted, which is most of humanity, you're not really going to realize it until it affects you personally. Then you want to galvanize the troops, but the troops won't be there unless you were there for the troops. Let's get into some of this presentation. How long we've been going? An hour? Damn. All right. Let's get into some of this because this is a good time. Thank you to my beautiful moderator for holding me down in the chat room. I appreciate you, Queen. And let me just bring this up real quick and share my screen because I'm on fire now. I feel it. It's the Daenerys Targaryen is breathing. The fire is stoking within me quickly because we don't take nothing serious, nothing sacred in our culture. How dare you? How dare anybody? And yes, do I think the George Floyd murder was a bigger psyop? Do I think that was a murder in cold blood while the other officers stood around and did nothing? Absolutely. But here, years later, is this really the right time and the right place to be re-invoking the spirit of somebody that has already transitioned, that has a lot of energetic weight and density attached to his murder, to his death? What you really wanted to say, Kanye, what you really wanted to say, Candace, is yes, the murder was justified. Say it with your chest. Have some courage. Don't be no punk. Just come out and say it. We don't need to talk about fentanyl. We don't need to talk about necks on shoulders. We don't need to talk about none of that. Just come out and say it. He's just another Black man on the street, drug addict. He didn't mean anything. He didn't have any value. Who cares? I'd respect you more. I wouldn't respect you more, but at least we'd have a proper understanding. We have a culture of cowards. We're surrounded by cowards. It makes me uncomfortable. You did a Black Lives Matter documentary and you didn't mention Trayvon Martin. Did she? I doubt it. I didn't watch none of it. You did a Black Lives Matter documentary and you didn't mention Tamir Rice. What was the brother's name? Michael Garrett. This on the tip of my tongue. Y'all know. We internalize those names. We internalize those shootings. We internalize those murders. Everything's not perfect in the hood. Our people been trying to figure this out for a long time. So we come from impoverished situations that force us to rob Peter to pay Paul. So you're not telling me nothing by telling me that a brother might have had to, he was bringing fake dollar bills in the store. Really? Are we really having this conversation this far down the line? Mike Brown, thank you very much. And please excuse me for not even remembering his name, because his story was one of the ones that you didn't mention none of that. So you want to go and trace and track and pinpoint $80 million, $90 million. Where's the documentary on George Soros? I dare you to do that, Candace. Where's the documentary on Planned Parenthood? Since you love Ye, let's talk about Margaret Sanger. Where are all the Planned Parenthoods at? We know, I talked about it in my book. They're all in the Black communities across the country. Kanye is 100% right and exact. He said 20 million Black babies has been aborted. I'm afraid, my brother, that number is much higher than that. This is not just a conversation about Black women not wanting to, choosing whether or not they get abortions. That's surface. I just said we've produced a culture in a world of very insecure, very dissatisfied, very bitter, very angry, and women that are suffering. They shouldn't be having children, with all due respect. And it's difficult to say, I know. I didn't say ever. They should be prioritizing themselves. We should be prioritizing them. So instead of them going down to the Dominican Republic and getting BBLs and riding back on planes on their knees, praying to the BBL God, is it Kim Kardashian? I don't know. Beyonce, maybe. She don't have a BBL, but she definitely is an inspiration for women all over the world. Hashtag bootylicious. This is how you differentiate the queens from whatever. My screen sharing. Let me know in the chat room when you guys can see my screen share, just to make sure you can actually see this. Nuh-uh, Zaza, we didn't create this condition. They did. We just perpetuated. Yes and no. Because consciousness creates reality. Let me know you guys can actually see my screen over here with the, okay, Neptune said yes. Yes and no. Because consciousness creates reality. Before the white man ever showed up, we were already devolving. That's the only way he could have ever showed up. This is spiritual warfare. Accountability is going to have to be faced. The female king, the queen, what was it called? The movie that had everybody up in a roar about the Dahomey Amazons and that, you know, Benin and slavery and all of those things taking place in that area. So now we got Black people online and African, you know, Black people and Africans fighting. Imagine that. Imagine you guys supporting somebody that's actually instigating Black people fighting with Africans. You know, the people get the leaders they deserve. So now Africa's having to come to face with her past. Woman can, yes. You got to deal with that, Africa. Ethiopia and Eritrea has to deal with what they allowed the Italians to come in and do. The Congo has to deal with what they allowed Leopold to come in and do. Africa has to deal with what they've allowed China to come in and do. Oh, ye icon, that's definitely a Freudian slip. Akon, going around giving relationship advice. You better check in with those Chinese. You making sure the city is on point. You making sure your timing is in alignment with those Chinese that have been raping and pillaging Africa very subtly in a nice, smooth way. Here's some infrastructure. Here's a dam. Here's some water. Here's some lights. Here's some electricity. We know, listen, I've been studying Africa for a long time now. I was talking about this with my professor, Manu Ampen, when I was studying African studies at Merritt College in Oakland. He was telling me about the Merowe Dam at that time, that the Chinese put the Merowe Dam in Nubia and flooded out all of the artifacts. Did Africans go in and take those artifacts and take those temples and take those pyramids and restore them and put it in African lands and in African strongholds? No, they went to Europe. So again, who are the chosen people of God? I'm still waiting to determine. The jury's still out. Now we want the queen to give back the diamond. Always playing defense. Always asking for our stuff back. We more focus on exposing the Jews than we are exposing God. That's a problem for me. There's nothing left to expose. The writing's on the wall. Satan has come from behind the curtain. What else is there to expose for people with ears to hear and eyes to see? Because everybody else is just looking for a show, Kanye. Are you enlightening people or are you giving them a show? I'm going to fast forward past this. This is my monthly exclusive content membership channel. These are my books. I've written 4 workbooks, 2 books, 1 ebook, 4 metaphysics workbooks, scientific intervention in our affairs if you're interested in what's actually happening in terms of this global scientific war, as well as plagues of dysfunction, as well as practical steps to health and well-being. Let's get into this. What's with the red elephant, ZaZa? What does the red elephant mean? It means that while you're spending your Sunday watching NFL football, or going to the basketball games, or living comfortably, hiding behind what's actually happening in the world, you're not paying attention to what's happening in the school systems because you don't have children, so it doesn't matter. Or your children go to public school or private school, so it doesn't matter. There's a big ass red elephant in the room. Kanye, Boosie, Noriega. There's a big ass red elephant in the room. The red elephant is being ridden by death. What say ye, hip hop? What say you, Diddy? What say you to all of the influencers, to all of the rap icons? I don't even want to mention any of the females' name because with all due respect, I don't expect anything from any of them. I was surprised that Nicki Minaj had like a 30-second revolutionary knee-jerk reaction. And she stopped that shit real quick. I can't even, Lauryn Hill is the name that I will mention. And clearly, you notice how Lauryn Hill and Candace Owens look alike. I get it. You need righteous Black woman energy around you, but that ain't it, bro. Lauryn is a good look. Candace, not so much. God is not the author of confusion. There's no reason to split people into 10 different directions just to prove your point. There's no reason to antagonize people, although I understand the Gemini frequency. My son's a Gemini. I have a lot of experience with Gemini men. I understand the antagonist twin, but he's the servant, not the master. Yay? Who's the servant and who's the master right now? For you to come back online while you got the whole world in an uproar and say, I haven't had any supermodel PUSSY in 30 days, send help. This is when I've been saying, like, we have these men in our culture that represent like 60-70% manhood. And so we ignore the 30%, the 40% of clown shit, because there's a lot of clown shit happening in our culture, in the conscious community. Oh my God. There's a lot of clown shit happening in our culture with our men and nobody's holding it accountable. Like, oh man, I had to change the game up once the human trafficking laws went into effect. Bro, you sound like a demon. Did Black people have an issue with that? Did y'all attack Boosie? Did you wave flags and you know, did you cancel pimps? Have we canceled pimps yet? I think this would be a good place to start. You want to earn the respect of women and our daughters? How about that? How about all of our men make a pledge? How about you black your profile picture out? You did it for George Floyd. Will you do it for me? Are we ready to cancel pimps in our culture? Are we ready to stop calling women bitches and hoes? Are we ready to get rid of the track? Prostitution? No, I don't think so. So we're getting ahead of ourselves and having this conversation about the real true people of God, because God has obligation, God has requirements. There's obligations and responsibilities for the children of God. If you haven't taken any of the obligations and the responsibility, then who are you? With all due respect.
Do Black Lives Matter in Israel? If you ask some of the Ethiopian Jews who are citizens of the state, it doesn't feel that way. They've taken to the streets over the past several weeks to protest police brutality and racism in Israeli society. And this shouldn't be confused with the recent protests of African migrants who aren't Jewish and are seeking asylum. But back to the Ethiopians. These waves of protests were ignited in April after a video went viral of police violently beating an Israeli soldier of Ethiopian descent. And as Israel-based journalist and filmmaker David Sheen told me, that struck a chord with many.
pretty much every single Ethiopian Jewish man in this country can speak to that experience. Either he's experienced it personally, or his brother or his uncle or his friends have been the victims of police brutality.
So what should you know about the Ethiopian Jewish community in Israel? Today, at least 135,000 Ethiopian Jews live in the country, which is approximately 2% of the population. Many of them arrived after Israel airlifted them out during the years of the famine in the 1980s and 90s. Before that, thousands of Ethiopians tried to reach Israel by land, many dying on the journey. But today, despite the fact that these Black Jews of Israel are citizens of the state, which entitles them to equal protection under Israeli law, and despite the fact that they serve in the Israeli army and speak fluent Hebrew, they have long been the victims of systemic discrimination. Just how bad is it?
Obviously, being the darkest hued Jews in the country, they face color-based discrimination that's not unlike in the United States and other parts of the world. The Ethiopian community has not been allowed to access to housing all over the country. They were sent to certain communities and other communities refused them. They were sent to certain schools and other schools refused them.
They've also suffered endemic poverty. At least 65% of Ethiopian children live below the poverty line. Just 5% of the community have college degrees, compared with 28% of the broader Jewish population. And on top of that, 1/5 of the inmates in juvenile facilities are Ethiopian Israelis. As organizer Moria Zalka told me, the younger generation of Ethiopian Israelis are fighting to change all of that.
We were born here, we were raised here, we got the education here. So we know our rights, we know what we want. Until we won't see a result, but true result and a long-term results, we won't stop.
So given the community's demands for social justice today, what is the government doing? Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu met with the Ethiopian Israeli soldier who was beaten by police and told him, Netanyahu repeated that sentiment at an annual memorial for the 4,000 Ethiopian Jews who died on their way to Israel years ago, saying there is no place for racism and discrimination in our society. He's also set up a ministerial committee to eradicate racism. But is that enough? Many Black Jews believe that change will only come with a change of consciousness among Israelis as a whole. And given how small the Ethiopian community is and the fact that it doesn't have a lot of political power, how optimistic should folks be that the government will once and for all address these longstanding concerns?
3,044 קילומטר, אחותי.
I'm so sick of these people. I want these people off my planet so bad. And when I say these people, I'm not talking about any specific race, religion. I'm talking about anything that is ungodly. Speaking of which, I saw your comment in the messages. Was it you, Jamal? Let's make sure. I want to make sure that I give you proper credit. I know plenty of sex workers who are independent. We can do without pimps. Sex work will always exist, but changes to the sex trade most definitely be made. Not in the kingdom of God. In the kingdom of God, the sex trade will not exist. What say you? You think a world that's being governed by righteousness, a world where there's equality, a world where women don't have to lay on their asses to make money, where they can do whatever it is that they are. You think women who are prostitutes actually want to be prostitutes? I know y'all make the strip club look glamorous and sexy and whatnot, but I have had I've never been in a strip club, but I've talked to a lot of women who come from that world. I actually listened to Cardi B. It's like chewing sand, but I did. Talking about that lifestyle. Do you really think those women actually want to be in that world? So if we lived in a free, righteous world where everyone was governing self and there was no limitation, and those women had the freedom and the ability to do whatever it is they wanted to do you actually think that the sex trade would exist? So in God's world and in the kingdom of God, which is on the way, which is going to be very balanced in terms of the masculine feminine, I can tell you right now in no uncertain terms, speaking for the divine feminine consciousness, that no, it will not exist. What will you do then? We don't want to have conversation. We don't want to have real conversations. And the fact of the matter is, speaking to the sex trade will always exist, I got news for all of us. The number of viable sexual partners in the world has substantially decreased in the last 2 years. So if you still walking in clubs, you still taking random strippers and random prostitutes home for blowjobs or for sex work, or you know people in that world, shit just got real dangerous. Shit just got real dangerous for everybody. You having jump offs, you better be careful. One night stands, you might want to do a medical background check, because the poison and the parasite is radiating. So if you lay down and sleep with the wrong person, AIDS is chop suey compared to the shit that we dealing with now. So with all due respect, Jamal, campaigning for the sex trade to a woman that has helped women actually get unincarcerated, women that have really been in the nitty gritty for the sex trade industry that has taken everything from them, that's snatching our daughters off the corners. African girls are being snatched in Africa and sent all around the world in the sex trade industry. I don't know. Is this the right channel for you? You're not ready to have a conversation about God? Well, this is a conversation about accountability and about God and about the kingdom of God and about living in a world where we don't have to deal with this shit. No woman wants to be in that. No woman wants to be in that reality. She might be getting a bag. She might be grinding. She might be fine as all outdoors. But I guarantee you, most of them got to pop a pill or snort some coke or drink some Hennessy to get up on that stage. I'm not no square. I didn't just start this. Are you okay with your nieces and your daughters and the women in your family being in the sex trade? I rebuke that shit in the name of all of the women that came before me and that come after me. My friend Omitayo, she had a statement. She said, and I might be butchering it, and I gotta say the real words because you just sent me somewhere. She said, money is the white man's God. Pussy is the black man's God. She said, money is the white man's God, and pussy, meow, for the algorithm, kitty cat, is the black man's God. I think you just proved that. I think you need to step your game and your consciousness reference up. I think you need to shift your consciousness into projecting the world that we actually want instead of the world that we actually see. This is Satan's world. And no, the sex trade industry has not always existed. The first place where it's actually came up on the map was in the Minoan civilization, which was the mother parent civilization of the Greeks. That's not an African thing. That's not a native thing. That's not an original people, native way of life. Now, you want to do the knowledge to the history? We can do that. I can't deal with I can't deal with it. I cannot deal with it. We way too deep in the game. There's way too much real shit happening in our culture. Our daughters are being snatched off the corners in every city in this country. There's nothing wrong with the sex trade industry. The sex trade industry will always exist. I beg your pardon. You better ask somebody. People getting taken off the set for disrespecting the divine feminine. Should I name names? Woo! Y'all want to have a real conversation? You want to talk about what's really going on? Okay.
Israel has announced a fourth dose of the COVID-19 vaccine for people older than 60 to be rolled out with immediate effect. It'll go to senior citizens, medical workers, and people with a suppressed immune system. The Prime Minister's office made an announcement after receiving a recommendation from the country's panel of coronavirus experts. The fourth dose will be given after a gap of at least 4 months from the third dose. The recommended gap between a second and third dose is also being shortened from 5 to 3 months. Israel is facing a problem of vaccine hesitancy among its ultra-Orthodox Jewish community. Hundreds of thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jews are yet to receive their COVID-19 shots. The group has some of the lowest vaccination rates in the country.
There are anti-vaxxers everywhere. The anti-vaxxers in the ultra-Orthodox community are more significant. Their activity is more significant. If in the general population, the anti-vaxxers attend a protest outside the Prime Minister's office, that's where the media coverage ends. Here, it is very aggressive, with direct mail, gatherings in synagogues.
Israeli officials have appealed to the community's prominent rabbis to promote vaccination. The country is deploying mobile clinics and is trying to beat back a wave of misinformation about the vaccines.
We are going on the offensive with the issue of vaccinations, and we are enlisting the greatest rabbis for this. The greatest rabbis are enlisting us. They are the leaders. They tell us what to do. They are telling us, bob people over the head and encourage them and incentivize them to get vaccinated. I have WhatsApp messages from the courts of Jewish sages saying, come on, hurry it up. So we are charging forward on the target.
And we can get more details now from our correspondent, Jodie Cohen, who sent us this report.
WHO Chief Tedros said the world can end the pandemic in 2022, and it seems Israel is not taking any chances. It's been 5 months since Israel started giving booster vaccines to immunocompromised people, so it comes as no real surprise that the government has announced it will now be giving a fourth shot to over 60s, at-risk groups and healthcare workers. The first in the world to do so, Israel believes others will soon follow suit as it attempts to curb the Omicron fifth wave. This is Jodie Cohen for WION. World is One.
Are these the people of God? Some 80% of the Israeli population? Are these the people of God? Are their leaders the people of God? Can we talk about this? People having to wear green wristbands in this country to show that they have taken the Jim Jones juice? Are these the people of God? Are these the chosen ones? I don't think so. Because guess what? It turns out courage is an attribute of God. So clearly, wherever these people are, whoever these people are, they're going to have courage. They're going to have the testicular fortitude, as the minister so eloquently says, to say no. Not just no to the Jim Jones juice, but no to anything that is contrary to God. We're not ready to have this conversation because most of us don't even have the balls to even talk about this. And we arguing about who the real people of God are? This is a circus. Boy, you, Jamal, you got me on 10, boy. I'm trying to do. Rising anti-Semitism is feared after banners saying Kanye is right hung over Los Angeles. We're in Babylon. This is Hollywood. Hollywood is Satan's vision board. If this is not a screen, if this is not a scene out of a movie, I don't know what is. They all got masks on. They're using the language. They're evoking Kanye. And again, cowards, because if you're going to stand on it, take the mask off. If you're going to talk shit in the comments, at least have a profile picture up. Show me you worth something. You gonna talk greasy on my social media platforms and you don't even have a picture? No, it's not. I can't argue with a ghost. A number of people raised their arms in a Nazi salute as they stood behind the banner, which was hung on a bridge over Interstate 405 Saturday. It's not surprising that such hatred from a celebrity has inspired others. This is how you talk to people that are stupid. This is in the LA Times. On Saturday, a bridge over the 405 freeway near a historically black community. Oh, I beg your pardon. You didn't walk through the black community. If you walked through a black community, you wasn't showing those signs. You didn't have no mask on. You had some khakis and some khakis and some K-Swiss and a polo on. When you walked through the black community, you felt comfortable when you got to that bridge. But I can assure you, one thing LA is, hey, listen, it is everything that you think it is in terms of the gang violence and the gang violence and the violent element. That fence is still up in front of Nipsey Hussle's memorial site, by the way. It bothers me. It's been up for 3 years. It bothers me that we laid a king to rest and he's not being properly honored. It bothers me. Does it matter? To me, it does. It bothers me in a real way, real bad. About half a dozen people unfurled huge banners, one of which said Kanye is right about the Jews, and gave a Nazi salute, an appalling spectacle once unimaginable in Los Angeles. This is theater. This is theater. You don't think these people, if you don't know what a crisis actor is, you got like 20 years of catching up to do. This is a horrible time to be coming into consciousness. And yeah, every blade of grass grows at its own pace, absolutely. But I'm just gonna keep it with a buck with you. This is a horrible time to be coming into consciousness. You got a lot of catching up to do, especially because you've had the internet for 20 years. So there's really no excuse. Unless you're spending all your time at Magic City, then yeah, we understand. Campaigning for sex trade workers. T.I. He wouldn't say nothing he wouldn't stand up for the nurses and the doctors in Atlanta, people losing their jobs due to medical apartheid. He won't say anything about that, but let the strippers be in jeopardy. Call up the crew. We march tonight. We ride at dawn. This is crazy. Who are the real people of God? I'm not convinced. I haven't seen them. God has requirements. Our whole culture is in 100%, 99% violation in terms of the divine feminine. There is going to have to be retribution by hook or crook. The purge is on. So yeah, the sex trade industry we're not going to have to do anything. It's going to kill itself. Because there is a very small number of people that are actually healthy, viable, conscious, and aware sexual potential mates. I don't care if you're a polygamist or not. I don't care if you have multiple partners, if you're a swinger, if you're gay, straight, black, white, Chinese, lesbian, it does not matter. The statistics, the numbers of viable sexual partners on this planet has substantially decreased. Unless you're willing to risk your life over it for a feeling, for a few minutes. But if you serious, yeah, we might want to stop campaigning for multiple wives and start campaigning for health and well-being. I'm calling out to the kings and the warriors. I know that, We're short on those nowadays, which is why I'm speaking to the mind and heart of Kanye West, because we're short on warriors. Our men want to argue about the sex trade industry and campaign for strippers and pussy popping. Shit is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. We need to talk, Kanye. This is from my presentation after or before the concert at the Los Angeles Coliseum, December 9th, 2021, for Larry Hoover. This was a mandatory Jim Jones juice, mandatory swab event. So while you're accusing the Kardashians and Corey of having conversations about potentially promoting this to your people, you did it too. Where's the repentance? You should have started with this. So when I talked about, I did a presentation. I don't even remember. I've been on my job. God damn it! I don't even remember which video it was. I have so much information in my brain. But one of the presentations where I talked about the Lollapalooza festival in Chicago, I pointed out like 4 or 5 major festivals that had hundreds of thousands of people all across this country and the world. 43% of the people at the Lollapalooza festival took the Jim Jones juice on site to go to the festival. So my question for you, Kanye, and for all of the brothers and sisters that are campaigning and riding with you without holding you accountable, and I'm riding with you, and I'm campaigning for you, and I'm not a joke. If I'm riding with you, whether I'm speaking in word or whether it's just a private, intimate prayer or meditation for you at night, yeah, things are gonna move around. We haven't seen real queens and real goddesses. I understand it's difficult to conceive, but I'm energetically zoned in on you. And I know you want to say what really happened to your mother. And I know the real pain and the real why you're disrespecting the divine feminine, why you're promoting the whole culture in the name of family, submitting to your lower nature continuously, because you've provided the world with 2 very sufficient concubines who actually have the same birth date. That was fascinating that you told us that and you bragged about that. Do you want your daughter to be like Amber Rose? I don't know. Do you want your daughter to be like her mother? So you did this event in Los Angeles on behalf of Larry Hoover, righteous intention. But you did it with Satan. There has to be repentance. There has to be atonement. There has to be acknowledgement. DMX, they took him off the set. Do we care? Does anybody have the courage to even talk about it? Anybody in his family? Swiss Beats? I don't know. I don't think so. Not you. And then Nas, the Hip Hop 50 Showtime event, hosted by Mass Appeal and Showtime and a couple of other. Nas posted this flyer. I was beside myself. I could not believe it. Oh, maybe he has too much to lose. We all have too much to lose. We all being put on the mat. We are being challenged mentally and spiritually and emotionally. All of us are facing the judgment. What makes you different? You have more. You have way more access. And you have knowledge of self. So I know you know better. So in Minister Farrakhan, let me just bring myself back up here for a hot second. When Minister, actually, I don't even need to bring myself up. Maybe you guys can see me. When Minister Farrakhan was talking to, Nas, my boy, I got beef with Nas, and he knows, because I had to get it off my chest. So he knows we have an understanding. And whenever he's ready to talk about it, he knows how to get in contact with me. do you think you are, ZaZa? I think I have courage. I think I care. I think I'm well versed. I think I can tell you what's in it. I think I can tell you the agenda. I think that deserves respect. So Minister Farrakhan, when Kanye was playing the clip of the minister, you notice they cut that out real quick when the minister started talking. And I'm assuming this is a message that he conveyed between Diddy and Kanye West during, you know, he left a message where I don't know how Kanye got a recording of it. Maybe he recorded it, but we heard about 15 seconds of it and then they cut it off. The minister was talking about Yaqub. Who is Yaqub? Yaqub is the legend. And I can't talk about this like fact because I wasn't there. We have the story that was told to us, so I'm going to replay the story. This could have been an allegory. This could have been symbolic. This could have actually been something that took place, or it could have been all of the above, right? Because the Bible is a book of symbolism. It's also a book of allegory, but a lot of those things have taken place and are continuing to take place to this day. So there's always levels to this, right? But Yaqub was basically the big head scientist who was one of the gods, one of the supreme beings from our people, who decided he wanted to create another people. He studied the brown germ and there was two germs within humanity, the original people. There was a black germ and there was a brown germ. So Yaqub went to the cipher of supreme beings, the circle of gods, 12 major scientists, 12 minor scientists. With all due respect, Kanye, yes, you're brilliant. Yes, you're amazing. Yes, you're wonderful, but you are not the only one. Narcissism is breeded in Hollywood. Narcissism is breeded through having fans that borderline worship you. Narcissism is breeded by no one being able to check you and correct you. We're breeding narcissists in hip hop culture, particularly in our men. We're breeding narcissists with social media influencers, which is interesting to me, but that's another conversation. But so Yaqub was the big head scientist who, in studying the nature of the original man and woman, found two germs. Now, later on, what was the boy's name? Mendel, the one that Francis Cress Welsing had the debate with. Mendel is his name. He's a scientist, a very prominent scientist who kind of broke the mold on the dominant versus recessive gene. One of you guys, I know one of my thoughts, somebody knows his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. You guys know it. Somebody that knows this history knows it in the chat room, right? Wendell Miki, something like that. So anyway, he came out and said that there was a dominant and a recessive gene. Now, this is later, I'm fast forwarding just to prove that science has already proved this story that could have been allegory, could have actually taken place, etc. So, Wendell, something to that effect. So anyway, Yaqub took to an island. What was the name of the island? It starts with a P. It's in the Bible. Y'all know it. Tell me in the chat room. It's in the Bible. It starts with a P. See, I gotta refresh on my lessons. So anyway, Yaqub took a group of doctors and nurses to this island, and William Shockley, yes, but William Shockley isn't his name. There's another one, Patmos. Okay, you see, this is why I bang with my people. Intelligent people that actually follow me. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel alive. Patmos, yes. So when William Shockley, yes, but I don't think William Shockley was the first one that broke that dominant versus recessive gene. It was Leakey, wasn't it? I think it was his name was Leakey or something to that effect. So clarify that for me, guys. Was it William Shockley or was it the other guy? It was one or the other, but I know Francis Cress Welsing smashed, like ran all the way through William Shockley in that debate, which should be on YouTube, by the way. Hopefully some of the ladies will go watch it because we need more scientific-minded women. So, also called Pilan, exactly. Patmos, also called Pilan. Okay, so let's go. So, Yaqub takes this group of doctors and nurses to the island of Patmos, and he basically sets up this infrastructure where they're going to graft out the brown gene from the black gene and create a new race of people. Now, you know, in the Bible, there's a passage that says, what will you create but man that will come into the world and make mischief? There's also reference to this in the Quran. So there's a lot of biblical and Quranic history. I won't say it proves it, but it definitely complements the story, right? So they basically killed the darker babies. They did this whole grafting, breeding process to have, you know, a man and a woman mate. They create a black baby, they create a brown baby. Kill the black baby, graft the brown baby. Take the brown baby, mate it with another brown mate, or, you know, mixing these genes or whatnot to basically graft out the darker gene in order to manifest this new race of people. Now, Caucasians have been here since 6,000 years plus. There's a lot of curiosity around those original people in terms of, like, you know, the Neanderthals. The Neanderthals have only been connected genetically to Europeans. So there's listen, I used to be in anthropology class in college, smashing on my, I was a problem in college. I took a Greco-Roman African art class. Oh my God. And I was heavy into African history at that point. So I was cocky in my classes. I used to come to class with books. Oh, you don't believe me? Yes, I was that student. I probably made some people mad, but it's okay. The truth is the light. So anyway, Yaqub basically through this whole process of grafting creates this new race of people, grafting out the black germ, magnifying the brown germ. Now, this is a much more, there's more to this story for context, but this is what the minister started telling Kanye in the conversation. So he's going back to, because when we talk about the whole Hebrew Jewish conversation, there's the Ashkenazi from the Caucasus Mountains, which is a specific tribe of Europeans. This is who Kanye is battling against. Judaism is a religion. So when we say Jewish, we could say Hebrew, we could say Israelite, we could say Jewish, we could say Jew. What do those terminologies that really actually mean? Depends on who you're talking to, right? Understanding the Ethiopian Coptic Christianity, just like Islam didn't just start out of nowhere. Islam was preceded by Sufism. Sufism was Africa's preamble. Sufism was Africa's preamble to the Quran. So when people say, and I don't even want to get in a religion conversation because I don't have a religion. My religion is God. My religion is myself and belief in myself. So y'all don't need to start writing passages in my comments. I've heard it all. You know what I mean? We don't need to do that. We got bigger fish to fry. But my point is, Yaqub, what he did, as crazy and as astounding and as mind-blowing as it actually sounds, is exactly what the scientists and the doctors of this world are doing right now. Creating a third string of DNA, morphing man with machine, studying the intricacies, using those swabs depositing something in your nostril cavity that crosses the blood-brain barrier and goes into your brain and starts actually recording and taking information and data and then sending a signal back to an outside entity. Yeah, Yaqub is alive and living well in the United States of America. So you notice there's a lot of propaganda now with Nazism and Hitler. There's a show on Amazon called The Man. Remind me what it is, sis. The Man with the Man from the Golden Tower. The whole show is about Japan and Nazi Germany having won I think it was World War I. So they redid history. And instead of America winning this war, the Germans won the Nazis won the war. And so they split America into three pieces. On the Pacific coast was the Japanese. On the, what's the name of the show? The book where the original man exalted. Come on, tell me the name of the show, sis. It's on Amazon. On the right side, the Germans, and the Nazis controlled it. And then in the middle was the free zone. Now, if you know anything about the Great Reset, I pause between the words so that I can try to trick the algorithm. If you know anything about the Great Reset, it's reset. You know anything about the 2025 timeline and then the 2030 timeline, The Man in the High Castle. Thank you very much. There we go. There's a show on Amazon that has 4 seasons that is talking about this rewritten history, getting you used to seeing people the Nazi sign, getting you used to seeing people hail Hitler. So when I saw that scene on the bridge, Hollywood is Satan's vision board. They're getting you used to propaganda that is rooted in chaos and murder and savagery and hatred. So they put some actors up on a bridge and covered their faces and gave them signs to hang off the bridge because, yeah, they're in the process of trying to crucify Kanye, at least the part of him that's still fighting for his soul. But they're also conditioning you to the social credit system and not having freedom of speech. And then they're also conditioning you to accept these very primitive, evil, wicked, vindictive timelines and agendas. That's why the Japanese, I told you guys, they have an allowance for a certain demographic of the Asian population because they have systematically for the last 10 to 20 years been making those people extremely docile, including forcing them to wear those blue coverings over their faces, which I proved in my Science as a Weapon series, as well as in The Kingdom Within, actually have technology in them that's affecting you in ways that you probably aren't cognizant of. The devil is alive. You think that book that's sitting on your shelf is just talking about things that happen in the past or things that's going to happen for your children's children? No, we're in the book of Revelations. The 4 horses, the 4 horsemen are upon us, and Beyonce is doing symbolism, writing the 4 horses. Is she cognizant of what she's doing? Of course not. So while we made mockery of Elijah Muhammad in this story, right? Oh, that's too far-fetched. And it sounds crazy. That's why to this day I don't say it happened. I wasn't there. I don't know. If you tell me that all of the scriptures are allegory and symbolism and half this, okay, so this could be a real thing, this could be allegory, this could be symbolism, or it could be all of the above. But I'm just looking at the William Shockley, dominant gene, recessive gene. I don't know, there's something to that. You go in the hospital nowadays, who knows what's gonna happen when you come out? Nurses and doctors being used to perpetuate agendas of death, of grafting, of getting rid of the original for something synthetic. Yeah, the war is on. So that's what the video was of the minister that Kanye started playing. You see how they chopped that up. There's nothing left to prove in terms of who are the real or the fake people of God. Prove it by being it. I'm tired of, I've read history books backward. I'm writing a history book right now. And I'm not interested in sitting down and having a conversation with anybody about proving who the real children of God are. I will know God through your energy, your energetic resonance, your aura, your frequency, your personal power. If you're not vibrating love and vibrating God, with all due respect, I'm not having a conversation with you about who are the real people of God. If you still co-signing pimps, you still co-signing hoes, you still co-signing all the clown shit that's happening in our culture, you turning a blind eye to all of the blatant disrespect of our women in particular and our daughter. You don't have anything to say about that. Yeah, why would I be talking to you about things pertaining to God when you are of your father, black, white, or otherwise? That's where we are. A people of sport and play. I'm almost done, y'all. We've been going for a while. I'm on 10, as you can see, but I'm almost done. I'm gonna be as brief as I possibly can, but I see you guys my numbers aren't dwindling, so obviously I'm holding your attention. That means more than anything. Let me share this screen real quick. So yeah, Kanye, if you want to have a conversation about accountability and responsibility, let's have it. All the people that are campaigning you without the broader context, campaigning for you, supporting you, yeah, I'm supporting you. Touch not my anointed ones. Kanye is fighting for his soul. That's the best we can ask for any of us. I can ride with you if you fighting for your soul. You made mistakes. You made a deal with the devil. Okay. Are you really with God now? Okay, then stop with the fuckboy antics. Let's commit to manhood. Let's not be manhood on Monday and warrior on Tuesday and clown on Wednesday and antagonist on Thursday. And on Friday, we're singing spiritual hymns and a spiritual guru again. And then Saturday, we take the day off. And then Sunday, we're focused on your children, while the majority of your people that are watching you are struggling and barely making ends meet. And you bragging about billionaire status, which apparently had limitations. I love Kanye. I'm ready to go to bat for him, because there's not too many people with courage on the planet left. But these things have to be addressed. These things have to be atoned for. These things have to be acknowledged. This was an epic failure in terms of choices, because you could have did this show anywhere. You didn't have to do it in California, in Babylon, and you did it here anyway. You and Drake, but I don't expect much of him. So there's that. This is from the Forbes magazine, where Kanye talked about the Jim Jones juice. He said he got sick that particular year from NOVID. He said he's suspicious of wow, I didn't even white out the word. That was an epic fail. He's suspicious of the Jim Jones juice, terming it the mark of the beast. He believes Planned Parenthoods have been placed inside cities by white supremacists to do the devil's work. And he envisions a White House organizational model based on the secret country of the Wakanda in Black Panther Forever. This is from Forbes. I know God is still alive and kicking in you, because you can't do an interview with a prestigious magazine like Forbes and speak this kind of truth and put it all on the line like he's putting it all on the line right now. So for all of the people who are antagonizing him, all of the silly Black puppets, like D.L. Hughley, like Charlemagne, can't call him the God anymore. Charlemagne, the dipwad. Charlemagne, the retard. No, that's not it. Charlemagne, the court jester. It doesn't rhyme, but it feels right. Charlemagne the court jester. That's your new name. I summon you here on October 30th, 2022. What say ye all? The charlatan. Yes, thank you. That's a great one. This is the video that everybody's passing around of the little girl walking around with the BBL. Her mother dressed her as a BBL patient for Halloween. So she's pushing the little stand that's supposed to have her, you know, your antibiotics or whatever your fluids are when you were in the hospital. And she's got butt pads as if she just came from getting a BBL. I need for women to understand that if this is the train of thought that you're on, the world is laughing at you. The world is making a mockery of you. In your pursuit to love yourself, in your pursuit to be comfortable in your own skin, in your pursuit to actually feel like a sexy, viable, curvy, you know, et cetera, the world is making mockery of you. When you guys are in restaurants and when you're in airports and all these different places, people are secretly filming you and putting you on Twitter and Instagram, and they're laughing at you and they're mocking you. So we've breeded a culture of insecure, unhappy, unfulfilled women seeking validation everywhere but within self. Let me know, Kanye, when we're ready to have a conversation about how that ties into the statistics of abortion in Black communities. Let me know, world, when we're ready to have a conversation about why a culture of insecure, unhappy, unfulfilled women seeking validation everywhere but within themselves are using Planned Parenthood as a form of birth control. In my Science of Self, in my Scientific Intervention in Our Affairs book, I talked about the fact, and I wrote that book in 2006, that girls between the age range of 14 and 19 were having multiple abortions, somewhere between 3 and 5 abortions within that time frame, as a means of birth control. We want to have a surface conversation, we want to keep shooting the shit, or we want to talk about a culture of insecure, unhappy, unfulfilled women seeking validation everywhere but within themselves? Because I am not impressed. They're laughing at you. If you're thinking about going to get a BBL, and you know, your choice, free will, everybody do what they want, but please take this into consideration. The world's making mockery of your insecurity.
Kim Kardashian got her handwriting and her fingerprints all over my contract. When you look at the two, when you look at my signature and you look at her signature on my deliverables, that say sex tape number 1, sex tape number 2, and guess what? Sex tape Santa Barbara sex. Her mama made us go shoot it for safety. She said, hey, we're gonna go with the first one because the first one is better. A better look than the second one that I made y'all go do, but you watched it and made a decision. And then you get on whatever show you was on and take a lie detector test with a fraud. Kim.
So this is who you're campaigning, right? You still trying to sell Delilah to the world as a queen. You are in direct violation, oh ye Kanye West, of the divine feminine consciousness, because this woman is single-handedly responsible for her and her family, and Beyonce, honorable mention, of course, Amber Rose, Nicki Minaj, et cetera, the Bootylicious movement. How has this weakened the temperament of the average woman that's just trying to figure it out and have some sort of viable, comfortable living reality in this very sexually driven reality? Why are you still trying to pass off the whore of Babylon while you're talking about the people of God, while you're talking about us taking control back of our economic infrastructures and our music and our fashion and et cetera, when will you take your mind back? Because as far as I can tell, this scene right here on Hulu of you going and getting the camera back and the computer back and you bringing her this and oh, it's all over. You're a part of the show, bro. You're a part of the circus, Kanye. So you either gonna be in the circus or you're not. But please stop trying to pass this off. In one breath, you're telling us that these people are Satan and evil and demonic, and you don't want your daughter to end up on a stripper pole or in Playboy. And then you begging this chick to take you back. This is, you trying to build a home or a strip club or a brothel. This is in direct violation of the divine feminine, not because she doesn't have the right to do what she wants to do, but because of the impact that it's having on the collective consciousness. And so women are now risking their lives and having their bodies chopped and screwed, the body that's already a miracle, the body that needs no improvement. I don't care how tall you are, how short you are, how slim you are, what your body disposition is. Go hit the Stairmaster. Do some running, lift some weights, do some yoga. We've become too weak. We're way too passive. We want things so easy. I don't know what happened to womanhood. I'm searching for it. If you find it, please let me know. Because I'm not impressed with any of this shit.
Welcome to the freak show. Calling all freak phones at the freak show. Pussy tight about the size of a peephole. Yeah, it's the freak show. Freak show. Calling all freak phones at the freak show. Pussy tight about the size of a peephole. Yeah, it's the freak show. No gag when I...
Sorry, I only have a certain allowance for concubine energy. But I think I've made my point. How is it that
Kim
you could
Kardashian
be
got her handwriting and her fingerprint.
a man of God, a proud father of 4, 2 daughters, having a school? Now you're responsible for young minds, not just all of the young minds around the world that you impact. How do you think that the girls of this world are faring in the Kim Kardashian, Amber Rose era? 2 women that you put on. You sold them to us as beautiful. You sold them to us as sexy and as glamorous. You talk bad about them when you leave them, but when you're with them, you're with them. I don't know what that's about. Maybe you could explain that. You had to take 30 baths after Amber Rose for Kim. This is that the Gemini element, yes, but the broader concept of what I'm trying to talk about, and I'm getting ready to end, you guys, so thank you for rocking with me. When I get into the Delilah frequency, which is what this is, a pivot into the broader conversation that I want to have about the gods of this world, Kim Kardashian, the avatar, is a god of this world. That's why she has such a broad impact. Amber Rose is one of her disciples. China, Black China, they're all the same. And the reason that this avatar is so prevalent in the collective consciousness right now is because as long as you focused on BBLs and as long as you focused on ass and titties, you are not focused on manifesting God. You are not focused on being a supreme being. And supreme beings, it's what is going to be required to build the kingdom of God. Everything outside of that, I don't really know what to tell you. So stop promoting these hoes to us. Stop uplifting these hoes. Stop, you put this whole family on. Come to find out the mother was pimping her daughter. What say you? Don't ignore this, don't ignore the details, because the devil's in the details. You know that. This is divine, this is absolute violation of the divine feminine. And a lot of shit is getting ready to get purged. This world is so out of order, men and women included, in terms of how we see, how we expect, how we interact with, and our vibrational resonance in terms of girls and women. There's a price to pay. The check's about to come due. So 5 billion people on this planet have made a choice that they're either going to go to the end of the earth and back to detox from and to get it out of their bodies, which I believe is very possible and probable. But that's just stage one. The real question is why you did it in the first place. Who is your God? Science, the medical industry, your parents, your family, Kim Kardashian, Kanye West. These are avatars of this world. So when we say who are the children of God, or we are the children of God, well, where's the avatars? Where's the collective consciousness? Where's the light? I don't want to hear you talk for 3 hours about yourself. That's boring. Hollywood breeds narcissists. You made a bill. How does it feel to have $1 billion in a world where so many people have so little? I'd love to ask that question. Why you and not the many? So bragging about the financial advancement, being focused on economic, all of those things, not the bragging, but just the economic focus, those things are important. Focusing and emphasizing business, those things are important. Focusing and emphasizing family, those things are important. But that's just happening everywhere in the world, every single day, and not just when it's affecting you, when you wake up on a Monday and your boss or your partner makes you feel some type of way, and now you want to activate the whole entire world. Activate the world to stand up against what these people are doing to these children in these school systems. It's really not king-like to have the world fighting over t-shirts. With all due respect, it's not godly. And God is not the author of confusion. What are we seeing? Confusion. Because yes, we are the original people, and we, God and the scriptures and all of this righteous spiritual conversation. And then you present this to the world as your queen? No, sir. I rebuke this shit in the name of all of the previous goddesses, queens, pharaohs, monks, shamans, etc., etc. If we're not talking about self-awareness and self-accountability, what are we really talking about? Are we willing to hold the white man accountable? Are we willing to hold ourselves accountable to the level that we're holding the white man accountable? Are you willing to go into Chicago and really deal with what's happening there? Because you brag about the city and you love Chief Keef. We love drill music. We love the impact that it's having on the world. But guess what? It's killing Black men. What say you? The Elohim has requirements. The Elohim has obligations. Christ consciousness is a heavy cross to bear. The frequency of God is not a joke. It's not a game, and it does not align with this demonic Hollywood, low vibrational, satanic, Saturday Night Live, fresh off the block prostitution, legalized prostitution, whole culture, concubine frequency, concubine culture, humping and graveling on the ground like dogs in heat, twerking like there's nothing else to do, always got your ass and your titties in the cameras. Everything's about how good your sex is, selling sex all across the world, including to our daughters. All of these females are in violation of the divine feminine. And we're not going to have to do anything because the purge is already on.
Also, I'm envious of the Jewish people. I'm envious of how they don't abort their children. I'm envious of how they don't shoot each other in the streets and then rap about it. I'm envious of how their families stay together. I'm envious that they turn their phones off on Friday night and the family comes together. I'm envious of how they do business together. And I want that for the darker Jews. I want that for the Black people. I want that I want my people to rise up like the Jewish people. I'm a competitor. I'm jealous of the Jewish community. I'm jealous of the fact of how they don't abort their babies. I'm jealous of the fact of how they stay with their wives. I'm jealous of the fact of how they do business together. I'm jealous of the fact of how they read their contracts and understand their contracts. I'm jealous of the way Jewish people do business. And I'm jealous, not just for me, but for our entire culture. And I believe that once we rise up, that we will have a position to be able to serve God, because it's not about taking over the world. God runs the world. We need to be in service to God, and we all need to be in service to God. So I'm jealous. And you know what? Because when I would speak on the Khaled and Drake record, why I speak on that? Out of jealousy. When I was speaking on Drake, why I speak on that? Out of jealousy. When I'm speaking on the Jewish culture, why I'm speaking on that? Out of jealousy. I'm jealous of the Jewish culture. You know, actually, I just thought of that right now, but it had to happen because it's such a perfect thing. It's basically saying, hey, you know, my people rise up. They did something good. Let's copy what they're doing.
This is my last. I'm ending with this, y'all. Let me just find where's my camera? Somebody in the comments from my headline news said that they think that Kanye West was using satire when he used the word jealous. Maybe, but it doesn't matter to me. We should be masters of we say English is a bastard language. Well, how come you haven't mastered it yet? Jealousy is lack-based consciousness. God is not there. Jealousy is victim-based, lack-based consciousness. God is not there. So are you jealous of these people for the way that they're treating the Ethiopians in Israel? Are you jealous of the way that they interact and handle the Palestinians? Are you jealous of what they're doing in the scientific and medical institutions around the world? Are you jealous of the technology that they've created that has now infiltrated the human body, potentially yours, potentially your children? Are you jealous about what they're doing to our planet, what they're doing in our upper atmosphere, what they're spraying in our skies? Synthetic biology, synthetic food, cloned animals, towers everywhere, vibrating low vibrational frequencies, hitting humanity, trying to destroy us at every turn. Are you jealous of that? Are you jealous of a financial system, the zeitgeist? You know, I had to say that with emphasis, zeitgeist. Are you jealous of that? Because if you look into that, then you really know that billion. Will you ever actually hold that billion in your hands? Probably not. Because where's the money really? Does it actually exist? You jealous of that? You jealous of the Wall Street? Are you jealous of Wall Street? A whole facade of nothingness that has created fake wealth all over the world, and none of it actually exists. Are you jealous of that? I'm not jealous of any of these people. I don't envy any of these people. Their whole entire world is getting ready to be destroyed. What will there be to be jealous of then? yeah, it's easy to make sure your children are in monasteries and in safe, comfortable homes, and you have the front and the facade of a safe home. You said you're jealous they stay with your wives. Are you still trying to stay with this chick, bro? Because if so, we need to talk. I think that might, not that I'm supporting households, families not being together, but yeah, this is spiritual warfare, and families are being separated in the bed, as it says in the Bible. Husband and wife shall be separated in bed. Parents from children, families are going to be divided. Yeah, this is where it's at. So are you committed to Satan or are you committed to God? So they're not violent towards one another. Are they violent towards the Palestinians? Actually, they are, because look at what's happening in Israel. Are you jealous of that? Are you jealous of what they're doing to the people there? Are you jealous of the fact that people have to wear banners, not banners, bracelets on their wrists that identify themselves, whether they've taken the Jim Jones juice or not? Are you jealous of that? So with all due respect, whatever he meant by it, it needs to be corrected. It needs to be cleaned up. It needs to be clarified, because there's absolutely nothing to be jealous of, especially when you're operating from the spiritual vantage point. We worship, well, we say the white man worships money and the black man worships pussy, right? We came to that consensus based on Jamal's interaction with me, right? That's not a blanket statement, but we praise pimps, so it's not actually far-fetched. Exposing the devil and exposing God are two different frequencies. There's nothing left to expose. These people are putting it out all on a line, clear as day. The devil is alive. You love Travis Scott, your spiritual discernment is working, then you should know that the devil got its grips all through and through that brother. They had a mass sacrifice and he stood on stage and went into a trance while people got trampled and got murdered. Why don't you talk about that? So let me know when we're ready to actually take accountability, to step up to the plate and start exposing the world to God, and start exposing the world to critical thinking and critical analysis and courage and convictions and loving the earth and healing the earth and standing up for our children and protesting and marching for these babies for what they're planning. When I start seeing that, then I'll know where the children of God are operating and functioning. ZaZaAli.com is my website. info@ZaZaAli.com is my email address. Much love to everybody for the super chats. Thank you for the Cash App donations. And as always, I really want you guys to purchase my book, because that's the best way to support me, because it is a mutual transmutation. You give, I give, we come to the middle, and then we all grow. All right. ZaZaAli.com is my website. Part 4 is going to be specifically about the Delilah frequency. Kanye West, I love you, King. I'm rooting for you. I see you fighting for your soul. I see you fighting to be connected with God. I see you have courage and convictions, and that in itself is worthy of support. But the atonement needs to take place, and you need to get right with the divine feminine. And I know that you are out of alignment with the divine feminine because of what happened to your mother. I know that you are out of alignment with the divine feminine because of what happened to your mother. So let's bring it back to the center, and let's deal with the real issues so we can really build and become the army and the kingdom of God. All right. Thank you guys for your time and attention today. Thank you to my moderator. I love you, Queen. Thank you to everybody who's listened, who added to the conversation. I appreciate you all. And I'm definitely going to be putting out more content soon. My membership channel, if you don't see me posting, I'm definitely on my website. So if you want to sign up and get all that information at my website, ZaZaAli.com. Peace and love.